Welcome to Learning Life content. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Your support helps us grow and motivates us to bring you more fascinating and enriching stories. The Black Sea, once a crossroads of commerce, had become a borderland of tension. In the mid-19th century, the ambitions of empires shattered the calm. Russia's power loomed to the north. The Ottomans struggled to the south. This sea was the fault line between Europe and Asia, Christianity and Islam. Sevastopol stood as Russia's fortress, a warning to rivals. Whoever controlled the Bosphorus and Dardanelles controlled the fate of nations. The sea became a chessboard for great powers. The peace since Napoleon was unraveling. The Black Sea was where the storm would break. The stage was set for a war that would reshape Europe. After Napoleon's defeat, Europe's rulers met at the Congress of Vienna, forging a fragile peace. The concert of Europe kept the balance of power, but old rivalries simmered beneath the surface. Russia's vast empire loomed, while the Ottoman Empire, excluded from Vienna, remained a vulnerable outsider. As new ambitions rose, the concert's harmony began to fray. The world stood on the brink. The Crimean War would be its first test. Tsar Nicholas. I saw himself as protector of Orthodox Christians under Ottoman rule. But this religious mission was entwined with Russia's need for access to the Mediterranean. The Black Sea fleet was bottled up by Ottoman control of the Straits. Gaining access was a matter of pride and security. The crisis over Christian holy sites in Jerusalem sparked confrontation. But the real issue was control of the Black Sea and the fate of the Ottoman Empire. The world watched as the Black Sea became a battleground. For Britain, the world's trade routes were lifelines, none more vital than the path to India. Russian expansion south threatened this imperial artery. The great game between Britain and Russia was a contest for supremacy in Asia. If Russia controlled the Ottoman Empire, it could threaten British naval dominance and the route to India. The prospect of Russian warships in the Mediterranean alarmed London. Britain's economy depended on free trade, and the Ottomans were open to British goods. Russian control would close these markets and tip the economic balance. Preserving a weak but independent Ottoman Empire was in Britain's interest. The empire served as a buffer, keeping Russia in check. British policy was clear: maintain the balance of power, prevent Russian dominance. The Ottomans were useful, not sentimental allies. Britain was willing to fight to protect its interests. The Crimean crisis was a test of imperial resolve. The British government watched the Black Sea with growing anxiety. The fate of empires was at stake. The world's greatest naval power was preparing for war. The balance of power in Europe and beyond hung in the balance. The British would not stand by. France in the 1850s was searching for lost prestige. Napoleon III, eager to legitimize his rule, saw the Eastern crisis as an opportunity. By championing Catholic rights in Jerusalem, he challenged Russia's claim as protector of Christians. His motives were political: restoring France's status and breaking diplomatic isolation. Confronting Russia would show France was a major power again. Preventing Russian dominance in the Black Sea and Balkans was vital for French interests. France's influence in the Eastern Mediterranean was at stake. An independent Ottoman Empire, friendly to France, was the goal. The alliance with Britain was a bold move, old rivals united by necessity. Napoleon III knew France couldn't face Russia alone. The Anglo-French alliance gave him military strength and international respectability. This partnership was a dramatic reversal, but it served both nations' interests. France was back on the world stage. The Eastern Crisis was the perfect stage for Napoleon III's ambitions. The alliance with Britain was a masterstroke of diplomacy. France was ready to fight for its place in Europe. The Crimean War would be its proving ground. The quest for glory had begun. The alliance against Russia was a marriage of convenience. Britain, France and the Ottoman Empire had little in common but a shared enemy. Their partnership was driven by self-interest, not friendship. Britain and France saw the Ottomans as a buffer, not as equals. The Ottomans, desperate for survival, played the powers against each other. By refusing the Tsar's demands, the Sultan gambled on Western support. The Ottomans highlighted the Russian threat to draw Britain and France into war. The alliance was fraught with suspicion and rivalry. Commanders disagreed, soldiers struggled to cooperate, and the Ottomans felt underappreciated. Yet the alliance held, united by the goal of containing Russia. Realpolitik triumphed over sentiment. The war was about interests, not ideals. The Ottomans survived by leveraging great power rivalry. The Western powers intervened to protect their own stakes. The alliance was uneasy but effective. The fate of the Ottoman Empire was in foreign hands. The war would test the limits of this partnership. Strategy, not friendship, ruled the day. The Allies struck at Sevastopol, Russia's Black Sea stronghold. The plan: destroy Russian sea power in a single campaign. Instead, the siege of Sevastopol dragged on for nearly a year. The Allies landed in September 1854, winning at the Alma, but failing to finish the job. The siege began, a nightmare of trenches, disease and winter. More soldiers died from illness than battle. The charge of the Light Brigade at Balaclava became a symbol of tragic bravery. The Battle of Inkerman was a desperate struggle in fog and chaos. Allied cooperation was strained. French forces were larger and better led, while the British suffered from poor leadership and supply. War correspondents exposed the British Army's failings, shocking the public. Despite hardship, the Allies pressed on. The French excelled in siege warfare, inching closer to Russian defences. In September 1855, the French captured the Malakoff, forcing the Russians to abandon Sevastopol. The city's fall was decisive, a blow to Russian pride and power. The Black Sea Fleet was destroyed. The Allies had achieved their main objective. The cost was immense, but the war's outcome was clear. Russia's ambitions were checked. The balance of power was restored, at least for now. The war's legacy would echo across Europe. The world had witnessed a new kind of conflict. The Crimean War had changed everything. With Sevastopol lost and Tsar Nicholas dead, Russia sought peace. The new Tsar, Alexander II, knew the war was unwinnable. The Allies, too, were exhausted by the cost. The Treaty of Paris in 1856 was a victory for Britain and France. The Black Sea was declared neutral. No warships allowed, even Russia's. Russia lost territory and prestige. The Ottoman Empire's independence was guaranteed by the great powers. The sick man was now under European protection. The Ottomans survived, but at a price. Their sovereignty was diminished. The Sultan was forced to promise reforms and equal rights for Christians, giving Europe a say in Ottoman affairs. The treaty preserved the balance of power, but only temporarily. Russia resented its humiliation and would soon challenge the terms. Ottoman reforms were never fully realized. The underlying tensions remained. The peace was fragile, a pause, not a solution. The Eastern question was far from settled. The great powers had postponed, not resolved, the crisis. The Crimean War's legacy was uncertainty. The shadows of conflict lingered over Europe. The game of empires would continue. The Crimean War is often dismissed as pointless, but it reshaped Europe. It ended the long peace after Napoleon and broke old alliances. The war exposed the realities of power politics, national interest above all. The Ottoman Empire was a pawn, its fate decided in foreign capitals. Britain fought for trade and empire, not ideals. France sought prestige, not religious liberty. Russia's holy mission masked strategic ambition. Soldiers died for abstract goals, their stories lost in the clash of empires. The war weakened Russia and Austria, paving the way for Italian and German unification. France regained military stature. Britain reformed its army. The Ottoman Empire survived, but only as a dependent state. The peace was fragile, the Eastern question unresolved. The war showed how easily great power ambitions could ignite conflict. The Black Sea's shadows were a warning of future storms. The Crimean War was a turning point, a lesson in the cost of empire. It revealed the cold logic of strategy over sentiment. The world had changed, but the game of power continued. The ambitions of empires would shape the decades to come. The echoes of Crimea would be heard again. The war's lessons remain as relevant as ever. Thank you for watching Learning Life content. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Your support helps us grow and motivates us to bring you more fascinating and enriching stories.